Good morning, everybody. This is Eric Lofholm. I want to welcome all of you to the Continuous Sales Improvement Daily Podcast. We are going to be getting started here in just a little bit. If you're out there in Facebook land, type into the chat. Let me know where you're joining me from. And on Zoom, Marcus, good morning. Welcome. Alea, good morning. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Happy Monday. It's Clean Slate Monday, which means if you had a challenging week last week, you can just let it go. If you had a challenging weekend, you can let it go. If you woke up this morning and got a not so good text or email, or something happened this morning that wasn't fantastic, you can just let it go. Dottie, good morning. Nice to see you on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get started here in about 1 minute. Forte, good morning. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us on Zoom. And I appreciated your texts over the weekend. Alea, thank you for your texts over the weekend, sharing with me how you're doing. And Neil, good morning, Neil. Welcome. Happy Monday. Good to see you, Neil. Starbucks got their holiday cups. Today's the first day, at least in my Starbucks. Good to see you here this morning. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. Bob, good morning, Bob. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. If you're here on Facebook, type into the chat. Let me know that you're here. We're going to get started here in about 15 seconds on this beautiful Monday morning, November 7th, the first Monday of November. As we're wrapping up the year, we're just under 2 months left in 2022. Michael, good morning. Welcome. Dave, hey Dave, nice to see you. Dave, thank you for joining us here. Welcome. And let's see here on Facebook. Carol, good to see you on Facebook. Karen, thank you for joining us. All right, let me get our session started here. Good morning, everybody. Eric Lofholm here. Happy Monday. I want to welcome all of you to the Continuous Sales Improvement Daily Podcast. And if you're new to the podcast, we're up to, I'm not even sure how many episodes. I think we're closing in on 60 episodes. So they're all usually about 15 minutes, and you can catch the recordings at CSIDailyPodcast.com. All the previous recordings are there. We're on iTunes and Podbean and a couple other places as well. CSIDailyPodcast.com if you missed any of the previous episodes. And I got to do a little screen share today, do a little training mode. And I want to share with you an idea that could create a breakthrough for you. And it's 3 ideas, and you're going to apply it to your future. You're going to apply it to your goal setting. And this may unlock something for you. So the first idea is timeline in terms of your future. And you can place things in your future timeline that can impact how you feel in the present moment. So, for example, let's just say you're dealing with some debt and you don't want to have this debt anymore. You want to become debt-free. You could place out into your future timeline, I'm just going to make up a number, 4 years from today, November 7, 2000, whatever that would be, 26. And you write in that timeline, today I'm debt-free. You can now benefit energetically today, knowing that you're going to be debt-free in the future. Now, in order to do that, we need to have our self-image come in. And our self-image is our mental picture of ourself. So I've got this example here, 4 years in the future, I am debt free. In your timeline, you could have things like your weight. We'll come back to this in just a second. You could have something like clean your house. These are 2 things I'm working on right now. We'll come back to that in a second. So let's talk about self-image. Self-image is your mental picture of yourself. So let's say you want to become debt-free, or you want to have your body do something different than what it's currently doing, or you want to clean your house, or you want to get 20 clients, or you want to have $25,000 in cash reserves. So build up your savings account to $25,000. These are all possible things that somebody might want, right? Different areas of your life. So we can put this out in our timeline. Well, let's come back to self-image. If my self-image is, I'm always in debt. If you see yourself as someone who's always in debt, and then you put out in the future, in 4 years, I'm debt-free, it's probably not going to work. Because your self-image, your brain is going to keep you consistent with how you see yourself. I'm always in debt. Or if your self-image is, I have a hard time getting clients. I have a hard time getting clients. Right? And I'm talking to you about, getting 20 clients. And you put that out into your future 12 months from now. I have 20 new clients. But then your brain's like, that's a bunch of BS because I have a hard time getting clients. Right? So we want the self-image to work in combination with the timeline. In other words, I want alignment. This is where the power comes in. And that comes to thinking in combinations. Thinking in combinations is where you take a scoop of ice cream and an ice cream cone. Okay, these are 2 separate things. An ice cream cone, you can buy a box of them. Scoop of ice cream, you can go to the frozen section to get the ice cream. You got to go to the dry section to get the cones. All right, a scoop of ice cream, you can just have a scoop by itself, or you could eat a cone by itself. Probably you've never done that, but you could. Right? So these items by themselves are not the same as an ice cream cone with the scoop in it. Ice cream cone, cone only. Okay? So I've got a scoop of ice cream, I've got an ice cream cone, cone only, or I have an ice cream cone with a scoop in it. That's thinking in combinations. So what we're going to do is we're going to take timeline and self-image. And I want you to work on those 2 muscles today. So clean your house. I decided the other day after a coaching session, a declaration. Everything has a place. Everything has a place. So my wife yesterday was in our drawer where we keep our forks and knives, right? You likely have a place in your house where you have a drawer where you keep your forks and knives. So I have a drawer like that. We have a drawer like that. And it was just a giant mess. And we have unmatching cutlery. We got like 4 different sets. They're all this put in there together, and there's no organization to the drawer. And my wife's telling me about this, and she's like, I don't like this drawer because it's always disorganized. And I said, well, if you don't like the drawer, then why don't you just change it? In other words, she, me, my kids, we're all resonating. We're all accepting this drawer where we keep the forks and knives. And so I became present to the fact that my wife wanted it different. I went down to Target and I bought 2 new sets of forks and spoons and knives. And this is them. This is our drawer. It's a picture of our drawer last night. And I should have had a before photo because it was a mess. But you can imagine it being a mess. I believe that 10 years from now, this is how our drawer is going to look. I believe that for the rest of my life, I'm going to have a drawer like this for my forks and knives. And my drawer's always been a mess. So what is the change? How did the change get created? Well, it starts with self-image. So if you, any of us have a self-image that my fork and knife drawer is a mess, okay, if that's your self-image, my fork and knife drawer are a mess, and you go, Eric, what does this have to do with me? The fork and knife is just a metaphor, guys. This is your closet. This is your car. This is your finances. This is your marriage. This is your body. This is your sales ability. This is your social media. This is your relationship with your kids. So if the self-image is my fork and knife drawer is a mess, and you hire an organizer, and the organizer comes over and does what I just showed you I did last night, but your self-image is my fork and knife drawer is a mess, then what's going to happen in a short amount of time? It's going to be a mess again. But if you say everything has a place, so I'm going to cross this all out, I'm going to cross that out, I'm not going to live that way anymore. Everything has a place. So that's my new self-image. Everything has a place, like in my whole home, in my car, and like my whole life, everything has a place. I've never thought that before. So everything has a place. So then I think about my house, like that drawer. It's nice and clean. That was a mess yesterday. My walk-in closet is not a walk-in closet because it's a mess, right? My trunk's a mess. So then I thought, okay, to get it where everything has a place, it's not like it's going to be that way this weekend. So now I'm going to come back up to timeline. So within 12 months, everything will have a place. Okay. I'm not there yet, but check this out, guys. I'm there in self-image. So I no longer have a messy closet. Even though my closet's cleaner from this weekend, but it's still not where it needs to be because it's going to take some time. So here's what I figured out. To get everything has a place, to really pull this off, it's going to take 100 hours. So then if you or I looked at that, it's this weekend and you're thinking about, okay, I got 100-hour project in front of me. Man, I could barely do anything this weekend. Forget that project. I'm going to go watch the ball game, or I'm going to go play Candy Crush, or I'm going to go check out because that's just overwhelming. But that's not how I looked at it. I said, 100-hour project over 12 months, piece of cake. And I'm motivated to do it because my new self-image is everything has a place. So what I did this weekend, spent about 2 hours. So my 100-hour project is now 98 hours. On top of that, it's unlikely I'm going to be creating more of a mess moving forward. Why? Because everything has a place. So I'm doing this with my weight. So the other day I weighed 199. I said, I weigh 195. Then I add 10 pounds of muscle. I now weigh 205. Now, if I get on a scale right now, I did get down to 195. So now I'm building this 10 pounds of muscle. So I don't weigh on a scale right now 205. But I do in my mind. See, I've already decided that result is going to happen. So what am I doing? I'm taking timeline with self-image. Okay. If my self-image is my body's always the same, then it's virtually impossible to put on 10 pounds of muscle. And if I did it, if I accomplish it, I use willpower and I got myself to do it, then I would just, right after I accomplish it, it's kind of like somebody organizing your cutlery drawer. If your self-image is my cutlery drawer is a mess, okay, it's clean for the moment, and then it's like goes right back to where it was. Guys, this is big stuff. Like your whole life can just shift right now. Like on this one little call, this one little 15-minute call. This might be a call to go back and listen to or watch it multiple times to put it into the subconscious mind. You probably have never thought about timeline and self-image and thinking in combinations. So I just entered a brand new thought into your mind, and I just taught you about it, and I just created a little 15-minute piece of content that you can go back and you can review. And you basically what we're going to do is we're going to add this to the awesome you that already exists. We're going to add this in if this resonates. Now, if you got something out of class today, type the word yes in the chat. If something landed with you and like, wow, that's a good idea, I like that, I'm going to try that. This makes sense to me. If you got something out of class today, just type the word yes in the chat. This literally could change everything for you. Because if your self-image, if you want to buy a house, for example, and your self-image is, we always rent, you're probably not going to buy a house. Who decides your self-image? You do. Your self-image is what you see when you look in the mirror. And here's the reality. You're an awesome human being. You're an amazing human being. And what I want you to do is I want you to focus on all of your awesomeness. Don't focus on your biggest weaknesses. Don't focus on when you fall short. Focus on all, just like coming to this call. You came to this call to better yourself. You do stuff like this all the time because that's who you are. You're a leader. I've been living in a story my whole life. My fork and knife drawer is disorganized. And that's how, not anymore. I've been living my whole life. My garage is disorganized. Not anymore. All right. It was awesome to be with you guys. Let's go out. It's Clean Slate Monday. Let's go out and have a fantastic day. Michael, have a great day. Neil, thanks for joining us. Anna, great to have you. Dave Austin, have a great day. Brian, thanks for joining us. Halea, have a great day today. Forte, thank you for joining us. Steve Shaw, Master Recruiter, be that. Sissy, thank you for joining us. Marcus, have a great day. Kevin, thank you for joining us. Kevin, Janice, thank you for being here. John, great to have you, John. Thanks for joining us today. And over on Facebook, let's see if I can pull you guys up over on Facebook here. There we go. And let's see here. Can I see you guys? Let's see. There we go. Perfect. Tanya, thank you for joining us on Facebook. Dottie, great to have you. Karen Briggs, thanks for joining us. Grace, thanks for being here. You guys can find the recording of today's session in about an hour at csidailypodcast.com. That's a wrap on our call today. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.